Hey guys, today we're going to draw some orcs and we'll just get right into it. I'm just gonna start by drawing some faces and I'm gonna cover their body in a later tutorial, but their body is pretty straightforward, so you shouldn't have a problem with that. Alright, orcs have big tusks, the male ones most of the time. That's typical orc stuff, and but many orcs, when you see in games or lore, they don't have tusks, they just have some big teeth out of their mouth. I'll just give them a fairly big side tusk, like this. And orcs have their mouth really low, but they have their nose and their eyes like crowded. They don't almost don't have any length in their nose. So they're like this. And we'll go ahead and make the eyes smaller when we make a cleaner sketch. I am probably gonna paint this one too and keep just this or just do another one. Right? The ears either go up or they're like more bulky and small, or they're like this. I'm just gonna make this design for now. They have really big animal-like necks, and this is what they'll roughly look like most of the time. Just go ahead and lower the transparency of that and grab a smaller brush. As you can see, they have really small eyes. You wanna add small eyes and those kinds of features to give them a more scary and rough look, like this. Can even add scars if you want. I'm just gonna keep it clean and let you do the imagination part. Right? As you can see, the nose barely is lower than the eyes, and you just wanna clear up everything, and I'm gonna do this and I'll see you once I'm done. Alright, I've went ahead and cleared up the baseline, and I'll just lower the opacity on this one. We're not gonna draw any more lines above this. This is most of the time what I do in order to paint. I lower the opacity on my line work, uh, like to keep it barely visible so I know where to start. These brushes are by Ahmed Al-Duri, by the way. He's a really good artist as well. Way better than me. Okay, anyway. Grab a fairly sized brush and just block in everything. And now that we have the line work above our coloring part of the painting, we don't have to worry about going outside the lines because we can erase later and we'll put more colors above this, so it's fine to just block in everything. As you can see, it's taking pretty long for my brush to fill in everything because my processor is having a hard time now, even though it's strong for some reason. Anyway, just fill this in. This is probably not going to be apparent when I have smaller brushes, so it's fine. Alright, don't pay too much attention on detail, just get everything in now. Alright, we're in this orc, we're gonna have the eyes blank. We're not gonna add any iris or anything. And yeah, we'll just add the shadows normally and everything. So this is gonna be like a mini painting session. I paint a lot in real life too, so I tend to think of Photoshop as real painting, where you have to put the light in first, then dark, because it's harder to overlap. But they're pretty much different things, and it's hard to get the mindset of real painting out of your mind and start painting in Photoshop as the professionals do, like the Ahmed Elduri guy that I mentioned earlier. Alright, just color those teeth in like this. And then for the eyes, you wanna get a reddish tint like this and go to the light part like this. Keep it not too saturated, and then just put some eyes in. Alright, zoom out a bit. And now we're just gonna add some shadow. It looks plain because I haven't added any detail yet. We could go ahead and add some freckles, though most of the time you don't see orcs with freckles and stuff. Basically it's pretty straightforward what you do for that. Grab a pretty big brush. Whoa, not that big. Like scatter brush. This is by Ahmed too. Like this size is okay. Then just grab your color and just get it more saturated and darker, like this. And there you have the freckles. Alright, sorry about the cat, but my cat was having a bit of trouble because he got his head stuck in a can. Anyway, just add freckles like this, don't worry that they're too dark. And we're just gonna lower the opacity, and if you see any freckles on teeth or on eyes, grab a like this kind of brush and you can just take them out, or you can just like lower their opacity if you have opacity on your eraser. Like grab a brush like this one. Okay. So generally just clean the freckles a little bit. We don't need such a clean look here because it's an orc, and of course he's going to have this kind of weathered look. And to put some shadow in, you can do it the traditional way. For now, to keep it fast, I'll just grab a cool tone from here, and I'll go ahead and try to guess, well, not really guess, to put in the shadow really fast, like in these areas. This kind of shadowing with the layer set on multiply and then you grab a cool tone is really fast, like, and you don't have to do something, it just multiplies the tone that's under it. But most of the time the traditional design is going to look way better unless you're a pro at this. So as you can see, this shadowing doesn't look that cool. I'm going to smooth it later as well, but it still doesn't give you that click, if you know what I mean. But if you want to make really fast paintings, or if you're into animation, for example, and you need to make a series of images and you have to do it immediately, you can just go in there and use this method for shadowing, and it's gonna save you tons of time from going back there, finding a color, saturating it the right amount and stuff, like you have to do with the traditional way. So this just saves a lot of time, but it cuts a little bit from quality. I'm gonna shade only his face for now. I won't go into the neck, that's pretty simple too. And you wanna try, for some reason, when you try and smooth this layer with a mixer brush, it creates this like ugly, non-transparent look. and I haven't figured out why this is happening. It probably has to do with what the layers above it are. Below it, not above it are. But I'll probably find that and try to smooth everything. So for now, the only way you can use the mixer brush on these uh, parts, like the shadows, are if you merge the layer down and you blend it along with the paint that you've already put on there. But in that way you lose detail. Like if I do that, I'm going to lose the freckles, for instance, and I'll have to do new freckles later, which is a little annoying. But it doesn't take that long, so it's okay. Okay, as you can see, this shadowing is okay for this guy. When I did the cleaner look, I just added a little bit of this wrinkles here, and you probably want to add some here. Most of the lore says orcs don't leave that much because they die in battle, but anyway. So you're not gonna see many of them with tons of freckles. This. And I'm just doing it really quick now, so I'll probably make some big mistakes. But I'm just you. Give it a cleaner look here, like more smooth. You can grab the lasso and carefully go around, carefully, not like me, and select the area which you want to put the shadow for the overlapping jaw. Just grab a sort of big brush and just put it in like this, and it gives this popping out look. I said I'm not gonna do any neck, so I'm not gonna do the muscles here. We're just focusing on the face now. And as you can see, I'm keeping a pretty smooth and pretty large brush still, because you want to have as less of these as possible, like these jagged parts. So that's why I'm using a soft big brush for this job. And what you want to do now that we're pretty much we're not even close to done, but in this small drawing that isn't so formal, and I won't commission it or anything, on this one we'll just leave it like this and just go ahead and grab a darker tone and follow the rules and just add dark where it should be dark, and I'll see you once I've done that. Alright, I've added some shadow really fast, so now I'm just going to merge this layer down with my color layer and grab the mixer brush tool, which will now work fine, and smooth this up. As you can see, this is getting rid of the freckles. Yeah, the freckles. But it's okay, we'll add some new ones later. I just wanted to show you how you put them in. So as you can see, along with the mix, it gives it a pretty good, okay shadow look. Believable, I could say. And you just wanna keep as little lines in your work as possible, because in the real world, of course, there aren't any outlines on anything. So this is also the reason why I take the transparency down on my line work, so that it doesn't look so much like a cartoon. And even if you took the transparency, if you made this layer, like the line work, disappear now, the drawing should have some consistency. Like for instance, if I did this, as you can tell, the drawing stays pretty much almost the same. This just adds a little bit of roughness around. So you can go ahead and get rid of this, and now you're pretty much left without any outlines, and you have a pretty clean painting. And we're gonna add some texture to his skin by just creating a new layer. And we're gonna do the same as the freckles. Just grab a circular brush. Trust me on this one, this is gonna look really weird in the beginning. You just wanna grab this and put some of these dots on. Don't worry, it's okay. It won't look like this in the end. Grab another color as well, even darker. Some in his cheeks. That's probably too big, but... And on some characters, if you do this, it will look cool and you can leave the marks like this. For instance, if you do it on an elf and you put some red marks on there, it would sometimes look good even like this. But, you know, it's an orc, you can't leave it like that. Just put your marks on there. This is just to give him a little bit of texture on his skin, because as you could see earlier, like, he looked really plastic, and with all these marks, they give him a more believable skin look. If it was a human, we're going to do something like a human on this guy. I don't know if it would work because I've never tried it on an orc, but we will see. Anyway, grab an eraser. Why doesn't it let me grab an eraser? Right? Grab an eraser and give these guys a rubbing. Weird. Anyway. And now just take the opacity 20%. And if you can still see some of those, erase them. But even if some of these circles can be seen, they're okay. As you can see, he has a good look from far away. So anyway, that thing I was talking about that I use on people's drawings, and I've never tried it on an orc. I'll try to, when you draw a human, and if you even look at a human, they have these areas on their face that are redder. For instance, the nose and the tips of the ears would be red on a human. But on the orcs, because their skin is green, and most of the time because their blood, if you see in the lore, their blood is either black or purple or blue or dark green, this wouldn't be possible. The redness that is given to a human skin is just the blood underneath that is showing through. So if you try this on an orc, most of the time it won't look believable, but I want to just try this out and check out what it will look like. And most of the time it's on the cheeks, on the nose, and on the tips of the ears, so I've added those areas, pretty basic. And you want to take the transparency down and kind of check out if it works. Like you can see here, it's pretty okay, so I'm just gonna keep it. It's not that much of a formal painting anyway, so and here you blend it in a little bit more. And now if you want, you can go ahead and add some new freckles. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna create a new layer for the teeth though. Just set that on multiply as well. Color burn. Right? And grab like more of a earthy tone this time, because they'll whoa. Set. Because orcs most of the time have yellowish to white teeth, so the shadows and the marks on them will be brownish red. It's the most an orc tooth could look like. And they have these like ridges that go through them, and even if you check like a big vulture nail, it will have these serrations because they help to keep it straight even though it's a big structure. Anyway, just add those to give his teeth a little bit more texture and believability. And on these guys, we're not even gonna take the opacity down, we're just gonna keep them like that. Merge it down. So as you can see pretty fast, we've created a pretty good orc drawing, painting actually. If you want, you can go ahead and give him a haircut, even though many of them in the lore are actually bald. And because they have all these cool tones on them, if you grab the slightly cool hair tone, it would look okay. Like if you grab this, it works with the rest of the values, and that's probably what you need. Just add this ponytail like this. Well, it's not really a ponytail, it's like a orc bun. Hey. Anyway, just put some highlights on there. Fancy. Then just grab some pure black and do this. You can even use the black softer to Aryan. And as you can see, this orc dude looks pretty good, even though he was done so fast. That didn't sound cool either, but anyway, you could go ahead, add highlights on the tusks, highlights on the eyes. As you can see, the eyes are one brush stroke, so go ahead and, whoa, not white. Grab something like this and light, even though most of the time you're not that much light. And just add this. This is the eye. And as you can see, this dude looks okay. You can add face paint and everything on him, but do whatever you like. Anyway, if you enjoyed, please support me, and I'll see you on the next one. And by the way, I'm gonna keep drawing orcs and all these fantasy creatures because I'm really into fantasy, and I'm actually pretty well informed as far as beasts and fantasy creatures go. So even for the nerds, I'll be pretty okay to show them these paintings. And for you unexperienced painters that are interested in fantasy, I'll just keep on making them. So if you enjoyed, leave a like and I'll see you on the next one.